Dallas Mavericks injury update. Anthony Davis out. Massive D'Angelo Russell concern with 6 players listed versus Pistons, November 1st. The NBA season is just getting into full swing, and already, injuries are starting to pile up across the league. For the Dallas Mavericks, things are looking tense ahead of their upcoming matchup against the Detroit Pistons. While the team has shown flashes of dominance behind Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, their depth and durability are already being tested early in the season. The latest injury report has fans on edge, especially after shocking news involving Anthony Davis and growing concern over D'Angelo Russell, with 6 total players listed on the injury sheet heading into Saturday night's clash. Anthony Davis out. Major blow to Lakers, indirect impact on Mavericks matchup. While Anthony Davis doesn't play for Dallas, his absence still shakes up the Western Conference picture, especially with the Lakers and Mavericks sitting close in early standings. Davis was officially ruled out due to a lingering hip or groin issue that's been bothering him since last week's game. His absence will definitely affect the Lakers' defensive presence and interior dominance, giving other West teams like the Mavericks a window to climb in the early rankings. However, it's not just Davis' situation that's catching headlines. The real drama lies in Dallas' own injury concerns heading into their matchup against Detroit. Massive D'Angelo Russell concern, questionable heading into Saturday. One of the most worrying updates comes from D'Angelo Russell, who's reportedly dealing with a sore ankle that's kept him limited in practice all week. While he's listed as questionable, team insiders suggest the Mavericks are leaning toward giving him a night off to prevent further complications. Russell's absence would be a significant setback for Dallas. Since joining the team, he's played a critical role as a secondary ball handler and perimeter scorer alongside Luka Doncic. His chemistry with the bench unit has been one of the keys to Dallas' offensive rhythm this season. Losing him, even for one night, would force Jason Kidd to adjust rotations and rely more heavily on unproven bench guards like Jaden Hardy or Dante Exum to shoulder playmaking duties. Fans are understandably concerned, not only because of the upcoming game, but because ankle issues can linger and worsen if not treated properly. The Mavericks medical staff has reportedly been cautious, but the uncertainty surrounding Russell's status adds more tension to an already packed injury list. Luka Doncic's ongoing management, playing through the pain. Now, when it comes to Luka Doncic, he's been the definition of toughness this season. Despite dealing with lingering thigh soreness and occasional lower back tightness, he continues to play through the pain, posting MVP caliber numbers night after night. The Slovenian superstar has shown no signs of slowing down, but the Mavericks coaching staff is clearly monitoring his minutes carefully. Dallas understands that Luka's health is the franchise's foundation. Overworking him this early in the season could backfire later on, especially with the team eyeing a deep playoff run. Expect the Mavericks to lean more on Kyrie Irving and other role players in games like these, particularly if the Pistons' defense forces Luka into tough, physical battles. Kyrie Irving, game-time decision with wrist soreness. Speaking of Kyrie Irving, here's another name drawing attention on the injury report. The star guard is listed as questionable with wrist soreness that flared up during Thursday's practice session. While reports suggest the issue isn't major, the team wants to be cautious. Irving has already carried a heavy load offensively and could benefit from rest against a lower-ranked team like the Pistons. If he's ruled out, Dallas could be without its top 2 creators, which would completely change the complexion of the matchup. The offense would likely run through Reggie Bullock, Josh Green, and the big men, forcing the Mavericks to rely more on defensive intensity and transition play rather than isolation-heavy sets. Other Mavericks on the injury list. As of November 1st, 6 Mavericks players are officially listed on the injury report. Here's a quick rundown of their statuses ahead of tip-off. D'Angelo Russell, questionable, ankle soreness. Kyrie Irving, questionable, wrist soreness. Derrick Jones Jr., probable, knee bruise. Maxi Kleber, out, toe sprain. Dwight Powell, day-to-day, shoulder discomfort. Josh Green, probable, back tightness. That's nearly half the rotation either questionable or banged up. For Jason Kidd, this poses a serious challenge in maintaining continuity and rhythm on both ends of the floor. The Mavericks' bench depth will be tested, especially if Russell or Irving sit out. Jason Kidd's dilemma, rest or push early. Coach Jason Kidd faces a tough decision. Does he push his stars to secure early season wins or play the long game and prioritize health? With the season still young, Kidd might lean toward resting players with lingering soreness to avoid aggravating injuries. However, the Mavericks can't afford too many losses in a hyper-competitive Western Conference where playoff seeding could come down to just a few games. The Pistons, meanwhile, are a young team with explosive energy. They'll look to capitalize on any Dallas weaknesses, particularly if Luka or Kyrie are limited. This could turn into a trap game scenario, the type of matchup where an injury-riddled contender gets ambushed by a hungry young team. Mavericks' potential game plan versus Pistons. If Luka Doncic does play, expect Dallas to run a more controlled, slower-paced offense that allows him to conserve energy while still creating for others. Without D'Angelo Russell or Kyrie Irving, more minutes could go to Jaden Hardy, who's shown flashes of scoring brilliance off the bench. Defensively, the Mavericks will likely depend on Derrick Jones Jr. and Grant Williams to handle Detroit's young wings like Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. Expect Dallas to focus on forcing turnovers and controlling the glass, especially with Kleber and Powell nursing injuries. It won't be easy. The Pistons may not be title contenders, but they play with high effort and have size inside with Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart, which could cause problems if Dallas is undermanned in the front court. The bigger picture: how these injuries could shape the season. Injuries this early in the season might seem manageable, but for the Mavericks, they could have long-term implications. Consistency has been one of the team's biggest weaknesses in past years, and repeated lineup changes can disrupt chemistry. D'Angelo Russell's situation is especially concerning. The team invested in him to stabilize their secondary playmaking, and his ability to stay healthy could be key to maintaining offensive balance. Similarly, Kyrie Irving's wrist issue could linger if not properly addressed. And while Luka continues to battle through pain, Dallas must be cautious not to overburden him too early. If the Mavericks can weather this storm, it'll speak volumes about their depth and resilience. But if the injuries keep mounting, the front office might need to look into short-term reinforcements or rotation tweaks to keep the team competitive in the grueling Western Conference race.